Hi, travelers. Tara here, and I'm going to be coming to you with the first open reading of December 2019. I cannot believe that the end of the year is upon us. Um, I think that 2020 is going to, I've been telling you guys for a number of years, 2020 is going to kind of change everything. And I think this is due to the configuration of Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter all being in the sign of Capricorn. Website members, I just posted an article up for you on astrology's December's big astrology. And so this is a month where tomorrow Jupiter will be entering 0 Capricorn. So this is the first degree. Um, this is going to be quite interesting because of the things that Jupiter represents. But we'll also be having Jupiter Sun conjunction. We will be having a a Jupiter Uranus trine. We will also be having eclipses. Don't forget, we are going to have the winter solstice coming up on the 21st, 22nd, depending on where you live. So this is going to be an exciting time, and I think there are going to be large major changes. Now, a lot of you are like, well, what does that mean for me? What does that? It depends upon your chart, what's in your chart, where the planets, the angles, the bodies sit. But what I always try to stress to you is that it is the big outer planets that you want to pay attention to, because that affects everybody on a global scale due to the fact that it takes the outer planets such a long time to transit. It takes Jupiter 12 years to make one complete transit around the zodiac sign. And when he does that, he spends 1 year in each sign. And so I know in Vedic astrology, Jupiter is not looked upon as being a very favorable planet. Um, in Western astrology, he's looked upon as being the luckiest planet alive. But, he brings about luck and expansion and growth. But he can also, the negative side, bring about greed and corruption, lies. So it just kind of depends. But you have to remember that everybody, no matter what your sign, your birth date, when the big planets, so if everybody is under that influence, the whole entire world is under the influence of Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn, and now Jupiter entering in tomorrow. So I think you should go, for those of you who are website members, go ahead and read that article, grab your charts. You'll want to look at your Koch, K-O-C-H, natal chart, and where you're going to find that information is going to be in the upper left-hand corner of your chart. If you have not received your Koch natal chart from me yet, you just simply email me and I'll get the chart over to you. And then you want to learn where you want to look at the transit, where it goes. I have information. There's how to look up the transits yourself using, what's it called? I can't even think of the name of the website. And it's free, so it's really interesting. I can't think of the name of the website. It's astrotheme.com, something, I can't remember, but there's an article there. So, go to the website and type in how to read your natal chart, and it should bring up a whole bunch of other articles for you. So, with that said, I was speaking to you the other day about buying a new deck of cards. So I went down to one of my local botanicas and I found a deck that really is, the energy of the deck is very, very lovely, but it's really quite a simple deck. And some of the cards, the meanings just don't, I can't quite figure out where she's getting it from. In addition, she did not give a whole lot of information on the iconography. So I've spent the last few days reading a document in which she said she based the tarot cards upon, and it's really quite interesting. I'm learning a lot. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use those cards. They are called the Old English Tarot. Okay, they're really, the energy is quite nice, but they're, as I say, it's kind of plain. And so what I'm going to do is I've already shuffled, so I'm just going to turn the camera around and going to lay the cards for you, okay? I've been playing around with the deck for a few days now, sleeping with it, doing the whole bit. It's an okay deck. So just let me adjust the camera and we'll get to the reading. Okay, I have with me the Sibilas as well. I don't know which one. And I have the conjure cards, and I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to be using a, what do you call it? A wrap up with an oracle card, because as I say, it's quite a simple kind of a deck. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already done the shuffling, so we'll just lay the cards. We have the Wheel of Fortune. There's our Jupiter card. You know what I think is most interesting about 2019 in terms of planetary aspects is throughout the year, we've had 4 of our planets all in their own ruling sign. We have Jupiter in Sagittarius, which changes tomorrow into Capricorn. We have had Neptune in Pisces since, I think, what, 2016. We had Mars in Aries, and we also have Saturn in Capricorn. And so that's quite significant because most planets, their energy operates at an optimum when it is in its own ruling sign. And I was looking through my astrology thing and just kind of going back, looking at some stuff. And that just kind of stood out at me. I didn't even realize that. So anyway, here we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Swords, and the Three of Coins. The Knight of Wands, the Page of Cups, or the Knave, the Eight of Wands, I'll adjust this so you can see it, the Three of Swords. So I have 2 threes, I have 2 swords, 2 wands, 2 court cards, and a major arcana, 2 of swords, and then I have the Queen of Wands. Now, what is under the deck? It is, wow, the Three of Wands. Okay, that's interesting. Now let me see what I can glean here. Let me turn my volume down on my phone. It rang yesterday, I think, while I was doing something. When this is over, I am going to, a little bit later today, website members, I'm going to post up a reading because I kind of want to look at all of these astrological movements and things as we move into 2020. And so I'm going to be using the Hermetic Tarot. So I'm going to post up a special reading for you in the Wildcard Gallery. It'll be later on this evening. And so we can go from there. What am I doing? Turning my volume down? Did that. Okay. So I just want to see if I can bear with me. I didn't get this done before I started. Okay. I don't feel that this is a romance reading. I feel that this is more so about work and career, which would make sense because of all of the planetary energy we have in Capricorn. Capricorn rules the 10th house. This is the house of status and ambition, your reputation. It is about work and career, your legacy that you choose to leave behind. And so I just kind of get the sense that this is what this is all about. I have 1, 2, 3 court cards now. 3, so there's this theme of 3. I have 2 threes in the reading, but there are actually 3 threes here. The 3 court cards, the 3 swords, And then I have one pentacle and one cup and two wands. No, three wands. Yeah, three wands, three threes, three swords, three cup cards. Um, Now in this deck, the knights really represent people. This is the way the author has set it up. Okay, as many of you know, the knights never speak to me as people. They speak to me as messages and news, which precipitate an event or which come along to move a situation along. And I feel that for many of you with this Wheel of Fortune, things have changed for you uh, on the career or work front. Now, I think what's interesting about the eclipses that are going to be occurring um, in December, we have our new moon lunar eclipse. I think it's on December 26th. That's going to be falling in the sign of Capricorn. Remember your house of work. Well, eclipses come in pairs. So in June, 6 months later, in January 2020, because there's 2 weeks between eclipses, there's going to be a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Cancer. And so that means there's going to be some changes for you in your home sector. And Capricorn and Cancer oppose each other. So with eclipses, there's a blackout. There's an information time frame in which you're kind. It's a shadow period. You know, if you've got a decision to make, we say to wait 3 days to 3 days before, 3 days after, because you're not going to have all of the information. Once the shadow has passed, you tend to get a bit clearer information. So literally for some of you, this is going to be changes surrounding your job, whether you've gotten a promotion, whether you're going to be moving to find new work, whether you're going to be changing careers altogether, whether you're going to be given a promotion, whether you're finally going to get the recognition that you deserve, or whether or not you may end up quitting your job, finding something else to do, or losing your job due to layoffs or a change in your industry. This could be another company getting bought out by another company. It could be the idea that maybe you were working in a company and now you're downsizing to go work at home, and vice versa. On the Cancer side, this could be the idea that maybe you're going to be moving. Maybe you're going to be purchasing a property, selling a property, maybe redecorating a property, maybe bringing in female relatives to come live with you, maybe adding a new baby, or your children have graduated from college now, so you're going to be downsizing, you're becoming an empty nester. It could be that you've been working at home and now you're going to actually go out into the workplace to find a job at a company. So all things, everything's kind of up in the air. It does depend upon your situation. But the Wheel of Fortune lets me know that things are changing. Slowly but surely, things are changing. It is neither luck, it is neither punishment nor reward. It simply is the changing tide of life, okay? It's the flux. Here with the Ace of Swords, yes, there's a truth in that, and I do feel that something has come along for some of you in which there might be a new contractual issue that has come along. So this could be the idea that maybe you've been trying to publish a book, or maybe you've been trying to finish your PhD. Because why? Because the Wheel of Fortune is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter rules higher education. So this is colleges and universities. But this is also searching for the meaning of life, or learning about the divine, philosophy, getting your message across to the masses. And so I do feel that there has been some kind of quote unquote truth discovered for you, and contained within that truth, there may have even been some kind of legal or contractual issue, because Jupiter also rules the law and justice. All right. Here are the Three of Coins, and the Three of Coins speak to this idea of putting two things together and coming up with a third thing, right? That's what the threes are. Threes are the meeting of two things to create a third thing. So this could be enterprise. This could be opportunities. This could be seeds that you've already planted, and that you know you're now at a place where you can actually move forward. You're seeing some practical result from your works. It's a coin. But I also see here that somebody shows up. This Knight of Wands, maybe a younger fire sign individual. This is someone who can bring exciting news to you, speak about a new journey, someone who is passionate and really willing to help you. I do sense, though, for some of you, I see that whatever this news, this person, this message was, there was a bit of disappointment here. I get the sense that there may have been two choices. That's what the twos are all about. You have twos here. There may have been two choices or two offers put forth. One was really, really exciting and maybe had a lot of things that went along with it that you really liked, but the other one really did touch your heart, something that you really felt quite passionately about. One more developed than the other because this is a knight and this is a page. And here with the Eight of Wands. Now, what's interesting to me about this Eight of Wands is that these people are harvesting wheat. And I don't quite know why, in terms of looking at the imagery, what it is the card is trying to convey to me. And I think, as I was saying earlier about the deck, there's just some things that don't quite fit. And this one, I'm going to have to double check the meanings of these two cards because what I'm feeling intuitively, I want to see what she says it means and then try to see if that fits with what I'm feeling intuitively. Here we go to the three, from the Three of Swords to the Two of Swords. Well, the Three of Swords is about disappointment, sadness, perhaps things not going right. Sometimes it's about receiving a message that has some kind of painful quality to it. But the Two of Swords here says concord, harmony, balance, but also a stalemate because there's an opposition. This is an opposition either coming from within yourself. I'm not sure what I should do. I'm not sure if I should do it. I don't know what's the better option to take. Maybe I should just sit on my hands for a while and not do anything and give it some thought. This could be actually communicating, let me think about this before I actually give you the decision. But we see that something, right? There's a decision that will be made, so to speak. And the reason why I say that is we go from the 3 to the 2. That gives us 1. So there's the 8. So there's something about this in the center that I think rings true. Even though for some of you it may still be a bit of a thorny situation, so to speak. Now here's the Queen of Wands, and typically she represents the businesswoman, no matter what your sun sign is. This could most definitely be a fire sign individual. This could be a boss lady, somebody that you work for. But she sits here in, I think, a most interesting position because usually the last card down is the energy that is being moved out. And she is looking towards the future. In fact, these characters are looking at things that have not yet, so to speak, developed or come to pass. All three of them. Yeah? Let me take a look at this Eight of Wands. I keep coming back to that card, and it's a swift activity, progress, and advancement. That's normally what it means. I just don't get that from that card because there's like no movement. And I suppose we could say swift advancement because you got two people down there harvesting and somebody bundling the crap up. So I don't know. All right, yeah, that's kind of suspect and iffy for me. But normally, that is the meaning of the Eight of Wands. And the Three of Coins, again, as I said, is the idea of great skill, mastery, artistic ability, and perfection. Well, if I'm going to take these three cards in isolation here in the future column, This tells me that whatever it was you've been doing, whatever seeds you've been planting, they will be coming to fruition. They will culminate quite quickly for you. So even though this energy is moving out, I don't necessarily think it's talking about the end of this. I think it's about a change, something coming in, right? And this is going to move you forward, perhaps in the world of work or artistic ability, creation, whatever the case may be. This Three of Wands. Yes, because it speaks to practical knowledge, business acumen, enterprise, and undertaking them. That's normally the card that the meaning that I ascribe to this card, but here it is with the Three of Wands. But it is this Three of Swords that sits here. And I get the sense that this Knave of Cups or Page of Cups is something that you're waiting for. And the reason why I say that is because he's holding that cup in his hands. I don't know if he's reaching out to pick berries or if it's filled with birdseed and he's trying to coax some of the birds into to sit on his cup and maybe eat or drink from his cup. So I just get the sense that there's something you are waiting on, as if the cards are saying to me that everything is really in place, but what you are, let me try to see if I can get this, but what you are waiting on is that information, that thing that's going to really give you the what do you call it, the answer that yes, this is what I should be doing, or yes, this is where I should go, or yes, this is the way for me to move forward. I don't really know what that is. Now we know that 2 3s can sometimes speak to a small and pleasant surprise. To me, as I say, this is not a romance reading, but on the off chance, then that could be the idea of excessive flirting and cheating. And then if I bring in the 3 3s, let's see what the 3 3s tell me. Because it does sit up over the top of the reading, the 3 3s tell of unexpected good luck. There it is. Because the Wheel of Fortune is linked to that fortune, fate, destiny, luck. Let me see what the other 3 3s represent. Just on the off chance. I'm sorry, 3 3s would speak to cheating, excessive, and a lack of commitment. Whereas 2 3s, one of you are craving more change and excitement. That's those two interpretations go. If this was a romantic reading, I just don't get that from this, but I'm going to throw that out to you anyway. So I feel that if I had to really pick out a card to take a look at what is happening, or what the movement is, or what the direction will be, it's going to be this Knight of Wands. And let me read to you what she says about the Knight of Wands. It says, a young person departing on a journey or advancing into unknown territory. And so that's what I mean when I look at these 3 of Swords and these 2 of Swords. It's as though the cards are telling me that you're just kind of waiting on, I don't know, something to come in to say, you know, this is where you should go. This is what you should do. Yes, you're on the right path, or yes, you're on the right track, you know, however that is for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 3 of the Indovina Sibilas, and then I'm going to pull 3 of the La Vida Sibila, okay? Because as we know, we are under a Mercury retrograde as well. So for some of you, things may have slowed down. This is going to depend on where Mercury is transiting in your chart, your natal chart. I'm not exactly sure where he is at the moment, but he will soon be coming out of retrograde. And so this could be that energy of some news coming back into you or someone coming back into your life. But I always give you the warning that if somebody shows up underneath the Mercury retrograde, they typically do not stick around, particularly if this is a past lover. They don't stick around. This wheel says that this is probably the last time you're going to have to deal with this person, if you so choose, right? Because everything's a choice. It's the end of a cycle. Presence. Tenderness. Faithfulness and affection. Wow. So this is either the someone coming into your life. Maybe they do literally bring you gifts and presents, okay? Or maybe they bring you the gift of tenderness, faithfulness, and affection, okay? But then the question becomes, what is this? For some of you, that brings you some kind of disappointment. Maybe you discover after all that it's really not what you wanted, or maybe not what you wanted, but you want that thing, but you don't want it with this person. Make sense? Okay. I'm going to pull cards on this Three of Swords here. This, in a work context, maybe this could be the idea that you've decided to strike it out on your own. You're leaving the company. You know, you were expecting to get your pension or whatever for all of the years of service. You know, maybe the people that you worked with, your coworkers, showed you that, and then maybe the company or the boss kind of fell slack on that. So let's just take a look and see. There's a reconciliation. A trip to the country. Huh. But inconstancy. Which would imply to me in one respect that it's something that may have been promised over and over again, but it has fallen through. That brings about the disappointment. Does that make sense? Maybe this is, you know, the idea that you were going to get that promotion. And you've been told over and over again, you know, for all of your years of service, you know, when it comes up, I'm going to recommend you, blah, 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 blah. And then the person don't, or you can't pin them down for a final answer because the decision is coming up soon, right? So we shall see. Or maybe that's what you need to have your answer. So it is these three sets of cards here. La Costanza. Now, isn't that funny? Because that's the constancy. This is the inconstancy. Isn't that funny? It's in the beginning, though. La Morte, a complete and utter separation from a situation. Isn't that funny? Which brings about conversations. Isn't that funny? Because it's almost like this in reverse. Reconciliation. Reconciliation is not just a getting back together. It is the idea of getting either coming together with someone and reconciling your differences. To do that, you have to have conversation, right? Or this could be the idea of reconciling something within yourself so that you can accept something. So it's almost as though the two, it's reversed. It's just the oddest thing I've ever seen. Isn't that funny? Okay. So then the question we want to take a look at, and we're going to use the conjure cards. What is the Two of Swords? Oh, well, there's a Two of Clubs, just flew out. That's almost like a Two of Wands. And, you know, in this deck, wands speak to work or the motivation, right? The Jack of Spades and the Four of Clubs, which there's a Four of Clubs and here's a Two of Clubs. So almost as if it's a circular kind of a thing. Let me get my cards out because it falls on the Two of Swords. So right now this tells me that things are in the balance, right? That maybe it's not exactly the way you want, or maybe it's a stagnated situation, but right now things are in the balance. There's a concord, there's a harmony, there's been a truce, there's a stalemate. Nothing is able to move at this time. So, let me pull up my, and I have two clubs with the Jack in the center. So the Two of Clubs says crossroads. Isn't that funny? Choose wisely the fork, as taking the wrong one can lead to disaster. It can also speak to the idea, listen, of gossip, disappointments, and oppositions brought about by this person. And the Four says you are able, you are stable and strong and ready to move forward, to stay focused and positive. But you must beware of deceit and avoid blind acceptance of others at this time. So I don't know if this is what this is about over here. The Jack of Spades says this. Hold on, I'm moving so slow this morning. It says this person means well, but is a hindrance. It's like the delay fish. It can also be news, very negative and bad. It can also mean blocks and cross conditions and jealousy. It can also mean a very hostile person and or environment. So I don't know if this offer, if this is the way it devolves or what the case may be. Let me see if it can tell me what the Knave means. A studious, reflective person, one who offers help and makes a genuine effort towards a goal. Well, I don't know. Maybe this is the idea that someone offers you help or assistance in some way, and you are conflicted about whether or not you should accept that. If that is what your intuition is telling you, trust what your intuition is telling you. What I'm going to do is pull a angel answer card. This is what I'm going to do. So formulate your question for the angel answer cards. I still think this is a work situation. It just feels like that. I don't necessarily, there's not the romance in it. That's not to say it's not that, but it strongly feels as though this is a work and career kind of situation. And there's some people around you. I think some of them who wish you well and mean well, but maybe there's somebody else that two-faced. I don't know if it's this Queen of Wands or if it's this Knave of Cups, right? Could be either. But I would look at it this way. If the Queen of Wands represents you, you're showing up as a queen, and this person's showing up as a page. Make sense? You know, like you have one loyal friend and a new person enters to help. Now those three people working together makes sense. Hmm? But maybe you're getting the heebie-jeebies and getting some shifty vibes off of this person, right? Okay, I've already done that, so let's just pull the card. It just says success. Yeah. But success is all what you make it, right? That's 10th house Capricorn all over it. But it's what you make it and what you determine. What's successful for you may not be what's successful for me, right? And vice versa. So it's really up to you to determine what the meaning of success is for you as it relates to you and your life and what you want. Congratulations, you are on the road to success. You needn't have any reservations about your situation as it's going to work out beautifully. Part of living a successful life is taking care of yourself. It is wonderful to have many things to be grateful for, but make sure that you don't wear yourself down by working too hard. Take time to enjoy peace in your life. And I say if it's somebody that's out to get you, the best revenge is a life well lived. So that's what I have for you. I do hope those messages help. And until next time, namaste.